Below the Bar podcast is not meant to be taken as legal advice. It is purely used for entertainment purposes. Corbin and I are not attorneys. In fact, we haven't even graduated law school yet.
We don't even know if we're going to graduate.
We don't even know if we're going to graduate. That's scary. So if you have any legal concerns, please, I urge you guys to seek an actual attorney. With that being said, I hope you enjoy this episode, and that's all I have to say. Hey guys, welcome to Below the Bar podcast. I'm your host, Drew.
And I'm Corbin.
And today we're going to be talking about contract law. Last week we talked about torts. This week, contracts. This case is pretty ridiculous. Oh boy. Okay. Do you remember, Corbin, when you were young and, you would get these, you would have to sell like sandwiches or like hoagies for school?
Yeah, like the fundraisers that you would always do.
Yeah. You'd be lucky if you get like $30.
Right. You have everybody in your family,
yeah,
and they give you something,
yeah,
but then you're supposed to go around and find more people.
And who wants to be pestered for a sandwich? Am I going to go door to door peddling BLTs?
Just get hoagies all day.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, it's kind of what happened in this case, man. This guy was the best fundraiser I've ever heard of in my life. Yeah,
no, he had to be. He was the kid in school that always sold the most and always got to go up on stage and get the best prize.
Oh, like when you had to sell stuff at school and you'd get those, like, what were the prizes? You'd get that like garbage portable TV that,
Yeah, it's always something that as a little kid you thought it was the coolest thing ever,
yeah,
and then it breaks 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
I know in my school sometimes we would have like these companies that would come in, and whoever sold the most or sold a certain amount would get to go up on stage and like, do you know those like cyclone machines?
The money machine.
Yeah. Yeah, those are for like the people that did really well.
Yeah.
He was in the cyclone machine when he was younger.
I would do that and fill it with like quarters. So I guess we'll talk about what this case is, because we're kind of leaving people hanging right now. So this is PepsiCo v. Leonard. And it's a real doozy. So what happened here was, let's start this way. So this, as we said, this is contract law. And at a very basic level, a contract requires a couple things. First, there has to be an offer. There has to be acceptance of that offer, and then consideration to go with it.
Right.
The point of this episode isn't really to go too in depth on all the elements of a valid contract, but really just to highlight the offer element of a contract, and mainly with an advertisement.
Right. Yeah, that's the main thing in this case, is like what constitutes an offer, because in this case, obviously he thought that there was a valid offer that was given, and PepsiCo says that there was not.
And he was I'll give him credit, he was very creative in his argument, and I don't know, I think they should have, let's just get into it. So, does an ad constitute an offer? It can.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it
is
can.
The answer. Yeah.
It can. It's with anything in law, it depends.
Right. Yeah. That's the best answer you can give in school.
It's never yes or no, guys. It depends. So when does an ad constitute an offer? There's a couple things. I don't know. You want to go through them, Corbin?
Yeah, so an ad constitutes an offer when it sufficiently defines the terms, and if the offer is communicated to a specific person or a limited group of people. Another thing is that the offer or the ad has to have circumstances surrounding the publication, show the advertiser has intent to enter into a contract with another person.
Sure, yeah. So that's generally, so that's when an ad is an offer, as you said, sufficiently definite terms, and this would include things like descriptions, quality, quantity, price, etc.
Yeah, like I know in the case they talk about like limiting terms whenever something says like first come first serve, like that can show that there is a serious offer on the table.
Absolutely. So I really wish we could play this commercial here that we talk about in the case, because it's pretty ridiculous. But so what happened was You guys probably remember Pepsi ran this campaign. What was it? 2000s, maybe late
Yeah,
90s,
I forget the exact year.
It happened.
But they still kind of do things like this every so often.
Yeah.
Where you buy products from Pepsi, you get points, and then you can get, now it seems like t-shirts or like random merch from Pepsi.
Yeah. So Pepsi ran this campaign, just like the one Corbin described here, and what happened was you would buy Pepsi points, you would buy Pepsi products, you would get Pepsi points. You could also purchase Pepsi points for, I think it was
10 cents a point.
10 cents a point, yeah. So that's going to be key here to this case. All right, so there was this commercial that Pepsi ran, and in the commercial, again, I wish we could play it.
Yeah, it listed a bunch of things that you could get with your Pepsi points, and they just kind of went on, said everything you could get, but at the end of the commercial, there was a Harrier jet in the commercial, and they basically said if you got 7 million Pepsi points, you could get this jet.
Yeah. Wasn't it like, didn't he fly it into school, this Harrier jet? Like every kid wishes they could fly a Harrier jet.
Right, yeah.
He blew the underwear off his principal.
Right,
knocked this poor guy out of his clothes.
Yeah, commercial was just like so extreme. It showed like a kid stepping off of the jet at school.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, would have been awesome.
It would be insane. Even today, if somebody pulled up, outside my house in a Harrier jet and got out.
Yeah, think about how cool the coolest kid, or the kid with the nicest car was at your school.
So cool. I had a Dodge. I had a Dodge Neon, man. Nobody likes a Dodge. I had a Ford
Taurus. I would trade that for a Harrier jet any day.
I have a Dodge Dart right now. I'm hoping somebody steals. I shouldn't say that on air. I'm kidding, guys. No, I'm actually not. But anyway, so this guy sees this, Leonard, he sees this commercial. He sees the Harrier jet at the end for 7 million points, and he realizes that he cannot purchase enough Pepsi to get the 7 million points. So what does he do?
Right, yeah, he realizes that. And also he realizes that a Harrier jet at the time, I think in the case it says cost about $15 million.
Was it 15?
It was something around that number. Millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So he realizes.
Yeah. I think I saw 20, but it doesn't matter the numbers. It was more than $700,000.
Yeah.
Way more. Yeah. He was aware of that too, I think they said, right, Leonard? I mean, obviously, it doesn't take a genius to know that a military-grade fighter jet is going to be worth... I say military-grade as if there's any other grade of fighter jet.
Right, but worth millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Another stipulation of this was that they had to send in at least 15 PepsiCo points.
Oh, to get in?
If they wanted to buy points, they had to have had at least 15 points.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So this is what we're talking about, guys, this fundraising. He went to whoever and got $700,000.
Yeah, and can you imagine like somebody coming up to you and being like, "Hey, I need $700,000 because I want to get this jet from Pepsi."
You would that's something you would expect to hear from a guy under a bridge.
Like, yeah.
Huddled over a freaking flaming garbage can.
Like a homeless person with hay fever, just like, I'm going to get a Harrier jet. Like,
just delusional ramblings.
I'd be like, get away from me, and walk away.
Crazy guy. He went, what? So he gets it, though. He gets it. He gets the catalog. And obviously on the catalog, which has all the prizes that you could get with your points, you have like a jacket, sunglasses, etc. Nowhere on it is a fighter jet, obviously.
Right, yeah. It's not in the magazine. It's only on the commercial.
So how does he get around this?
So basically he I believe, just emails. Is that correct?
I think he wrote it. I think he wrote it on the catalog. I think he just said like one Harrier jet and then sent that in. And he argued that the commercial was an offer.
Right.
And that his sending in the catalog with the points was acceptance of that offer.
Right. So so he did that and basically waited a little bit for his jet, never got it, reached out to Pepsi and they were like, yeah, we're not giving you a Harrier jet.
Yeah,
like,
take
this
a
was
hike,
not a
pal.
serious offer.
Right?
And he takes them to court for a breach of contract.
As he should. All right, so what did the court say? This is going to be interesting. So the court said simply including an offer form is not sufficient to establish an offer. They really kind of hinged on this question as to what an objective, reasonable person deems such an advertisement to be an offer.
Right. I know they leaned a lot on if a reasonable person would see this as a joke.
Yeah.
And I kind of go back and forth on that, in my honest opinion, because what one person thinks is a joke, another person could think is very serious. So, like, I would like to think of a lot of people as reasonable. And how many times have you said something jokingly and somebody gets very mad?
Oh, they take it seriously.
Yeah, they think it's serious.
Yeah.
And so the court, basically says that this commercial was clearly a joke.
Clearly a joke. This child, let's just say it, he was a child, flew to school on a Harrier jet. And this man saw this and said, that's real life. I'm going to get a Harrier jet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he believed it one way or another and decided that he was going to get this jet. I also think you have to think about the other possibility of somebody seeing this and being like, hey, I know this isn't real, but they said it. I'm going to do this. And if they don't give it to me, I'm just going to take them to court, which is the likely situation.
Yeah.
I still think he should have gotten the jet.
That's
my
what?
opinion.
Here's what I'll say. And because I read this case and I have a lot of feelings, and I do disagree with you. Okay.
Okay. That's fair.
He shouldn't have got the jet. But with that being said, I do think it was very unfair how he was treated. I think he should have at least been able to touch one, or they should have, flew him around in one.
Or just given one that doesn't work, and like that could have been his house.
Like a Matchbox. It could have been his house. He lived in it.
Have you seen those people, especially now, like Instagram influencers are renting out fake private jets?
Oh, yeah. I saw speaking of living in weird things, this guy was living in a missile silo, and it was just, so living in a hair. I mean, I guess anything's possible. But yeah, I think, the court did ultimately rule that there was no offer because, a reasonable person would see this commercial, which Leonard was arguing was the offer, as being a clear joke. So there was no offer. In fact, they said Leonard submitting the form for the Harrier jet was the actual offer. So he was offering Pepsi 7 million Pepsi points for a Harrier jet, to which Pepsi said, nope, no.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it would have been great. If
it would.
In the end, the court was like, no, sorry, Pepsi.
Yeah.
You have to give this man a Harrier jet.
That would be just a hilarious use of the justice system.
Right. It would have been great.
So that wraps up PepsiCo v. Leonard. It's a short case, but it's very interesting in the sense that just the fact pattern is just wild. And we really wanted to talk about this with you guys, and it really helps to illustrate when an ad is or is not an offer. And, so here it just turned out that this ad was not an offer, and Leonard, just, sorry, guy. Sometimes life isn't fair. But thank you for listening, guys. And as always, you can reach out to our Instagram at Below the Bar Podcast, and just, any cases that you think that you want to hear us kind of talk about, just send us a DM, let us know, and we'd be happy to look at them. So,
yeah.
Anything you want to add, Corbin?
No, not really. Again, I think this case just kind of shows what kind of cases we're going over, where one side just takes the law and uses it in just a weird way, which we find funny.
Yeah. Keep it interesting, guys.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you.